Okay, let's unpack this. Today, we're doing a deep dive into, well, it's more than just a book, really. Norman Vincent Peale's The Power of Positive Thinking.
Ah, the classic, 1952.
Exactly, 1952. And honestly, if you look around today, self-help, motivational stuff, even corporate coaching, so much of it traces back to this one book. It really set the stage.
It was foundational, no question.
So, our mission here is pretty straightforward. We want to pull out the key ideas, that mix of psychology and spiritual thinking he used.
That blend is crucial.
Right. And figure out why Peele was so insistent that this wasn't just like wishful thinking. He framed it as hard work, discipline.
Consistent effort, yeah. Not just happy thoughts.
We're trying to see how this 70-year-old idea is still shaping how people think about mindset today. And that initial hook must have been, well, pretty radical for the time. The idea that your own thoughts, your internal chatter, could actually limit you.
Or empower you.
Or empower you, exactly. He was basically saying, find those negative loops playing in your head, replace them, and boom, you unlock all this energy you didn't even know was there.
And you have to think about why that hit so hard back then. The core concept, thoughts shaping reality, it sounds almost commonplace now, maybe?
I like that, yeah.
But Peale was making a very direct link.
Hmm.
Your internal state, your psychology, directly influences what you achieve externally.
So consciously choosing faith, confidence,
Yeah.
over fear and doubt.
Actively choosing it.
Yeah.
He taught that this gives you the mental toolkit to not just, get through problems, but actually overcome them. Big obstacles, personal, professional, whatever.
And the delivery mattered too, you're saying. It wasn't just the message itself.
Oh, definitely.
Hmm.
The book took off because of its specific context. Peale brilliantly wove together these emerging psychological ideas, suggestion, conditioning, that sort of thing,
Mm-hmm.
with very accessible Christian faith. Think about America then, post-depression, post-war. People were looking for certainty, renewal.
Something practical. Yeah.
Exactly. Practical and spiritual. This book gave them both. It was like the perfect bridge between, say, the Sunday sermon and Monday morning's challenges.
And let's be really clear about the kind of effort he was talking about. Our sources really emphasize this. Peale wasn't a fan of just, superficial wishing.
No, he was quite critical of them.
He saw positivity as a structured daily thing, like a mental workout routine you had to stick to.
A conditioning process.
Yeah. It was about actively choosing to do that mental work day in, day out. And through that repetition, you build real resilience, real happiness, setting yourself up for success.
And that repetition, that's the bedrock. Confidence, for Peale, wasn't something you're just born with.
Right. It's built.
It's developed. And it grows specifically when you consistently replace those I can't thoughts with affirmations of strength. It really is like mental strength training. You don't just think about lifting weights and get strong.
We got to do the reps.
You have to show up and do the reps mentally.
Okay, this is where it gets really practical, right? The actual tools he gave people. Because it wasn't just a philosophy.
No, he offered a toolkit. Ways to actually reprogram your subconscious.
So first up, probably the most famous one, affirmations and positive self-talk.
Mm-hmm. Classics.
He presented these as, agents for psychological change. He told readers, use simple, positive phrases, and interestingly, not just generic ones, but often rooted in scripture.
Yeah, that grounding was important for his audience.
Like using, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. That wasn't just a saying. It was a tool to consciously retrain your mind, build a new, empowered self-image.
Super effective for the people he was reaching. And that flows right into visualization.
Which we hear about all the time now, but back then...
Pretty groundbreaking in the popular self-help world, he was telling people. Vividly imagine yourself succeeding. Picture nailing that presentation, closing that deal, getting healthy. And Peale argued this wasn't just daydreaming. It did two things. One, it boosted your internal confidence, your belief you could actually do it.
Right, the mental rehearsal.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And two, he suggested it actually helps attract those results in real life by focusing your energy and intention.
So if affirmations and visualization are the how-to, where does faith fit in?
Faith is like the anchor, or maybe the force multiplier. Peale argued that you need to ground this new confidence in something solid spiritual principle, belief in divine support.
Okay.
That belief, he said, provides this deep mental calm. It gives you the courage to face really big challenges without just collapsing into anxiety. It's the stabilizer.
Which kind of explains why things like prayer and meditation were so central to his method.
Absolutely essential, not just optional extras. Quiet prayer, Meditation, specific relaxation techniques, these were core practices.
Why? What was their function?
They were the way to actively deal with worry and stress, to sort of clear out the mental clutter, renew your strength, maybe even open yourself up to inspiration.
Like essential maintenance, mental hygiene.
Exactly. You need that downtime, that reset, to sustain the positive effort when life inevitably pushes back hard.
Okay, but we should probably pause here for a second. Because this philosophy, it's powerful, but it's also where some criticism comes in, isn't it?
It is.
If you tell people their thoughts shape reality, and then they don't succeed or things go wrong, doesn't that put all the blame on them?
That's a really important point, and a common critique then and now.
Did people back then raise concerns about, ignoring difficult external situations
Like
like
that.
poverty or discrimination?
Yes, that critique existed. Peale definitely approached it from the angle that personal change is the most potent change you can make.
Okay.
Critics would say, and still say, that focusing only on internal thoughts can sometimes seem to downplay or ignore major systemic issues, real economic hardship, prejudice, serious mental health conditions like clinical depression, things that aren't just fixed with a positive mantra.
Right.
However, looking at what Peale actually wrote, his focus seems to be on controlling what you can control, your inner world.
Okay, so not denying the external problems exist.
Not necessarily denying them, but providing a framework so they don't completely derail you, so they don't crush your spirit or dictate your entire response. He was teaching people to manage the one variable they always have access to, their reaction, their interpretation.
That makes sense. It puts the focus on the internal battleground. Okay, so let's talk about the payoffs then. Because Peale was really early in connecting the mind and body, which feels very modern now.
Oh, absolutely. Decades ahead of the mainstream on that. He really hammered home that worry and negativity aren't just feelings. They actively drain your energy.
They take a physical toll.
Yeah, deplete vitality, even contribute to physical illness. On the flip side, cultivating positivity boosts your energy, sharpens your focus, and supports your physical health.
It's basically an early version of the psychosomatic link we talk about now.
Exactly. He was popularizing the idea that mental state affects physical state. Today, CBT, studies on placebo effects, they provide data that backs up the kind of connections Peale was making intuitively.
And what about dealing with setbacks? His approach seems geared towards building resilience.
Huge focus on that.
Yeah.
Instead of seeing a problem as a roadblock, Peale pushed readers to use optimism almost strategically to reframe difficulties.
How so?
His core idea was that problems are often opportunities in disguise. He used examples like a business person facing huge debt. The natural reaction is panic, right?
Sure.
Peale's method required reframing. See the debt not as failure, but as, say, an intense training exercise. A stepping stone forcing you to find creative solutions, develop patience, find grit you didn't know you had.
So optimism isn't just hoping for the best blindly.
No, it's an active belief that the challenge itself contains a lesson or unlocks a path that will ultimately make you stronger.
Which naturally leads to his point about goals, I suppose. All this positive energy needs a direction.
Precisely. You unlock this potential, this energy, but then what? Setting clear, positive goals gives you that direction. It provides motivation and makes sure the positive mindset is actually channeled into productive action.
And he backed this up with stories. Right, real examples.
Yes, and that was key to the book's power. He wasn't just theorizing. He filled it with anecdotes, stories from his ministry, his counseling work.
Like what?
Our sources mention examples of people overcoming serious illness, or digging out of deep financial trouble, or moving past depression, specifically by using this structured approach, faith, plus positive mental habits.
So people could see tangible results.
Exactly. These stories made the principles feel real, achievable. They show the mindset shift could lead to genuine, life-altering changes.
And it wasn't just about individual success, was it? He talked about relationships, too.
Oh yeah, the ripple effect. Peale definitely understood that positivity or negativity is kind of contagious.
Right.
When you apply this disciplined, positive framework to how you interact with people, it naturally improves communication, strengthens family ties, social bonds.
It creates space for other things.
Yeah, makes it easier to practice forgiveness or compassion or build mutual respect. It's hard to maintain healthy relationships if you're constantly dwelling in negativity, right?
Makes sense. It radiates outward.
That was his point. Commit to the internal work, and it starts to positively influence your external world, including your connections with others. You become, in a way, a magnet for better interactions, better circumstances.
So, bringing it all together, what's the big takeaway for us today?
I think Peele's core message, the one that still resonates, is that positive thinking isn't a switch you flip. It's a lifelong habit.
Like exercise or eating well?
Exactly like that.
Or
It demands consistent effort, a routine, reinforcement over time. That's what actually transforms your attitude and your results. You can't just try it for a week and expect miracles.
So the real insight is that knowing isn't enough. It's about the doing, the application.
Daily application. You have to commit to those mental reps, the affirmations, the visualization, the reframing, the prayer or meditation every day, especially maybe on the days you least feel like it.
That consistency is key.
Which brings us to maybe a final thought, something for you, the listener, to chew on.
Okay.
If Peele is right, that sustained positivity and success really hinge on this daily mental and spiritual discipline. What happens when life throws a massive curveball? When intense fatigue or burnout or grief or just the sheer weight of the world makes sticking to that daily routine feel impossible? Does the whole structure collapse?
Does resilience depend entirely on keeping up that perfect routine?
Or does the consistent practice over time maybe build something deeper? A kind of underlying strength, an unshakable core that persists even when the daily habits temporarily falter?
That's a really interesting question. Is resilience the routine itself or the result of the routine?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Something for you to mull over as you go about your